Um, Let me put this here. All right, this is a review I've been wanting to do for a number of years now. Or at least I thought I wanted to do it a couple years ago, and then I never did. Star Wars Pod Racer, everybody, or Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I don't think anybody refers to it by that name. Star Wars Pod Racer. I got this game because I had been watching a channel called N64 Glenn Plant. My favorite YouTube channel. He's since retired from it, or so it seems, which makes me respect the guy all the more. He took a step back. Anyway, he does like a lot of great Nintendo 64 reviews, and this was one of the games I had seen on there, and one of the games I had remembered renting when I was a kid. One of the few Nintendo 64 games I actually rented. Eating a banana. And so, when I saw him playing it, I was like, fuck, I gotta get this game. And I was broke as shit at the time. Not that I'm much better now, but I was at work, and my girlfriend at the time texted me or something. She's like, check your email. So I checked my email, and it's like this check-in. Excuse me, I gotta cut her fucking name out. I was like, what the fuck is this? She's like, just sign it up. We're going to a focus group tonight. We'll get $100. And I was like, say no more. So we go. Excuse me. We go to this focus group. I forget where it was exactly, but it was like somewhere in like Midtown, up on like the 15th floor of some random office building. Right? We walk in, we sign in. And there's all the other people there in the focus group. There's like a little band of people drinking coffee, eating snacks, that kind of thing. Oh, and there was food there. Jesus Christ, yeah. I think that was part of the reason we went, was that there was like free dinner. They had like little sandwiches and shit like that. So we're sitting there just piling it on. And we go into the room, and they're asking all these questions about like chewing gum and shit, and they're like, so what do you think if we show you this? And it's like a spearmint ad. Everyone's like, yeah, spearmint, whatever. What about this? Like a Hubba Bubba ad or something. Yeah, whatever. Then they showed us Trident tropical flavors, or I forget exactly what it was, but it was some like bastardized version of gum. It came in like this carrying case that had like a place for you to grip the fucking thing, and it was like real, like, and they were trying to be real hip with it, and so everyone is like, okay, so we're at a focus group for this new fucking brand of Trident tropical butt fuck or whatever. And the woman working there's like, well, I actually can't say. I can't say until at the very end. And of course, at the very end, like after, and everybody, because everyone had a chance to basically give their critique of this new Trident branding, I guess. And by critique, I mean everybody in turn just took as long as they want, really, to completely fucking shit on this Trident thing. So at the end, the woman's like, yes, this was actually for the new Trident thing. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Everyone's just like, why are you trying to sell this shit to? It was pretty fun. Anyway, totally beside the point. I got $100. My girlfriend got $100. And with that money, I decided to get 3 Nintendo 64 games. I got Pod Racer. I got Resident Evil 2, which I have not yet gone back to after rage quitting. And I got Mischief Makers, which I don't know how many of you know that game. I'd be surprised if any of you do. But, and I really haven't gotten into that one yet, because that one has a pretty steep learning curve. But apparently Mischief Makers is like top tier pick. I think it was developed for the Super Nintendo, and then they, it was a little bit late in that system's life, so it's like a 2D game, I wouldn't even call it a platform. I don't know what exactly it is, but I got those 3 games. And out of all 3, the only one I actually really played was Pod Racer. So, without further ado, let me get some more coffee and I'll talk about it even more. Basically, this game rocks, but at the same time, it's also not that great. Hi, Mo. Sorry, pouring myself some coffee. My cat's sitting here at the open window watching the pigeons. They've been taunting him. They've been like sitting on the windowsill and then dropping down from above like fucking hawks. I don't get what their fucking problem is these days. Oh yeah, coffee time. Okay. Anyway, so thing with Pod Racer. It's not the world's best game by any means, but it's a great game. It's if you own a Nintendo 64 and you don't own Pod Racer, Jesus Christ, get your shit together. This is just like a fucking fast-paced sci-fi racing game. Now, let's start with the cons. Well, there's not much competition. You're going to be basically just like trying to complete the courses by yourself because the AI sucks. And there are very few times when you're going to lose. Can you hear that, everybody? Upstairs neighbor yelling at his kid? Yeah, I spend most of my days listening to, Noah, what are you doing? No! Anyway, there's not much competition in this game. You're going to be pretty far out in front of everybody the whole time, which is fine. I don't really mind that, but my problem with it is that you can crash a million times, you can do fucking horribly, and you will still manage to win. And I don't like that because this game, I think, gets more fun with the better you know every map, I guess. There's not much thrill in winning, is what I'm saying. The thrill is in doing pretty well, navigating well, not fucking crashing. Because this game is like, at a certain point, if you were to just pick up the game and play on the level, Noah, everybody. Kid's losing his fucking mind this morning, as is the father. If somebody were to pick up the game and just like go at it at the level I'm at, they'd be like, this game is uncontrollable. Because at a certain point, and that's also to this game's credit, the speed is just so fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's so fast that it's like it's delayed. Like the analog stick is delayed. I don't know what the nerd technical term for that is. But I'm playing it, with AV on a CRT. Like, there's no input lag or anything, and it's still, like, laggy. And it's probably a Nintendo 64 thing, I would imagine. This is a game I'd rather play on PC if I could, just because, at least on PC, it's 60 FPS. But the game is, like, ridiculously fast. Which can be irritating, If you're on like a pretty claustrophobic map and you don't know it really well, you'll just fucking crash a million times. But you'll still win, and that's the problem. Is that this game really does not require mastery over the tracks, and the tracks, for every like cup or Grand Prix, for lack of a better term, you go to the same planet 5 times, right? There's like, let's say there's 7 races in a Grand Prix. You play them all, they're all on different planets. Go to the next Grand Prix. You're playing again on the same planets, just different tracks. So it's difficult to differentiate between, the Tatooine track on one Grand Prix and the Tatooine track on another Grand Prix because they look the same, but the layout is totally different. And for that reason, it's like the game is very rarely asking you to memorize anything except when you're on that 3-lap sort of circuit, Because afterwards, it's like, well, you never have to do that again. You fucking won. You managed to get first place somehow, despite the fact that you blew your fucking ship up about 1,000,000 times. I don't like that, because it's not that fun. Like, the fun in this game comes from when you're doing really good and you know a map like the back of your hand. But there is very little incentive to get to that point. Except, I will say, on, like, the very last circuit, like the bonus circuit, where there's, like, 4 maps. And this is another huge, huge flaw as far as I'm concerned, is that one of the maps on here is legitimately broken. There's a track up top that you begin on, and there's a track down below. And you can fall off the top track into the track below. And it's incredibly easy to do this. And in fact, this is why I stopped playing this game like 2 years ago. And the minute you fall off that top track, and you'll see it, I'll include fucking footage of it right here. The second you fall off that top track, you're immediately in like 5th place. And I'm just remembering now, I fucking did a bit on this. I recorded such a good bit on this game like a year ago. And I'm almost positive that it got fucking deleted or something. There was like some weird issue with it. Or maybe that was the recording of it. Shit. I'm going to have to pull out my own old phone. I wonder if I did it on the phone. I might have done it on the computer. In any case, never mind. It's fucking gone. Anyway, you fall off the top of the track, and you're immediately in 5th place, and there's absolutely no possible way for you to get back. You just have to restart the race. And so, eventually, 2 years later, you'll get to the point where you'll beat the race. Like the other night, I did it so simply. And part of the reason is probably because I had been playing on like a flat screen, so like the input lag was a little bit more significant. But yeah, in doing it this time, it was a little bit easier. But I can't deny that the track is totally broken. But in that, you really had to memorize it. You really had to master it. And I liked that about it. So all the bonus tracks at the very end, if they could even be called bonus tracks, they're pretty challenging. You have to play them all like 4 times because it's really, really easy to lose. And I appreciate that at a certain point. But for the rest of the game, like, it hasn't been very much of a challenge. Okay, but here are the pros. The pros are that the sense of speed is like insane. Like the motion blur when you're driving, or when you're flying, it feels like you're going really, really fast. And I guess you are. It looks great, It has that classic Star Wars prequel era video game lighting. They just had like such a firm, coherent sci-fi aesthetic. And playing this game and then playing like Bounty Hunter or something like that, there's almost like no difference in terms of the kind of lighting in worlds they found interesting. And I love that about these games. You got like these neon levels, and there's like rust and shit like that. And it's cool. I think like the design of everything is pretty top notch. And and playing it big, oh my god, it's just fun. There's something so addicting about it. Playing it big on the TV, you're going really fucking fast. I love it. I think it's really fun. The fucking sound design on the 64 cart is horrible. It's not even horrible. It's fine. It's passable. But there just isn't any sound design, which is kind of strange. Well, I guess it's not strange, right? The other big Star Wars game on the system was Rogue Squadron, which literally had Dolby 5.1 surround sound or some shit like that. But I'm realizing now that sound was developed by Factor 5. And this must have been like an in-house LucasArts game. So the sound design fucking sucks. Although I've heard that on the PC it's a lot better, or at least like more prominent. I guess that's the problem, is that the sound design here isn't even prominent. It's just like a gentle sort of whirring sound, and that kind of sucks because what is here works. Like the sound of the engines is kind of nice, but remember in the fucking movie, like every single racer had like a very distinct sound. Like the sound effects during that 20-minute sequence sent from fucking heaven. Jesus Christ, what a fucking movie. Best Star Wars. Well, I don't even know. It's not the best, but it's up there with the prequels are better than the originals, everybody. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. If you don't think so, get the fuck. Go fucking watch them again, all right? Take a big, deep breath before you watch it. Maybe pour yourself a drink. Sit there and prepare to be blown away, because the prequels are cinematic masterpieces, unlike anything else you've seen. Anyway, and that beautiful 20-minute long fucking race sequence. Holy shit, how exhilarating. My God. The sound design there is so fucking impeccable. You can close your eyes and you have a pretty firm sense of what's taking place, And that's totally lacking here. There's really no sound whatsoever, which is a shame, because if the sound had been there, if it had been in place, then this would have been really, really exhilarating. It's an exhilarating game nonetheless, but you kind of have to infer maybe what it should sound like, I don't know. But goddamn, it is tight. And more than anything else, I think it's addicting. It's like a great arcade racer, It's like something that you would play. You'd go to like Caesarland or Chuck E. Cheese or whatever when you're a little kid, and this is the kind of fucking like arcade booth game that you would be dying to fucking play. It's that fun. It makes you feel like a kid when you're playing it. It's just so fantastic. What else? Oh, there's the whole thing where you got to buy parts for your ship. I don't understand this. You buy parts and then they sort of deteriorate over time. So you have to buy new parts and you have to buy droids to fix the ship. But the fucking problem with this is that there is a finite amount of money to be made in this game. You can make like, what, $3,000 for getting first place. And how many fucking races are there? Maybe 28? You can only make 28 times like $3,000 or $5,000 or whatever the fuck the amount ends up going to. And I remember the first time playing it, I was just like out of money. Not that you really need it, but I remember that being sort of strange and not really understanding that system. And I still don't understand it any better. It is kind of interesting if you're into that kind of thing, which I'm not. I don't really give a fuck. But you can buy new parts that will work, that cost a little bit more money. Or you can buy used parts that might work, but they might also blow up on you during the race. And you can get those for like dirt cheap, So it's kind of, what is it called? What did they say? It's either Watto's Body Shop or Watto's Junkyard, depending on whether or not you're buying new or used. And that's kind of a fun concept. But again, you can fucking soup your thing up so much. Your guy gets so yoked that you're going like the minute you start, you're going like 600, which is also hilarious. I'm like, did they measure speed in terms of miles per hour in the Star Wars universe? Because there's no MPH thing, right? There's no kilometers per hour. It's just 600. You're just going 600. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, well, why not going? Why isn't he going 6? Why isn't he going 8? Why not go 80? I don't understand their choice. I guess they just wanted you to push 1,000 when you're going really fast, when you're doing the boost. Is that the idea? Jesus, this is a really bad review. What else? I thought that was kind of funny. Shit, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. You get to the point where your guy is just so fucking souped up that it's almost difficult to play. Like, you are going so fast. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to record the same race twice. I'm going to use Anakin on one because he sucks and I haven't upgraded him. And then I'm going to use my guy, the French guy, Bullseye Nevoir. And you'll see, like, just how it's so twitchy, which is why I think the PC version is probably better, rather than using, like, analog, because, God knows. The Nintendo 64 analog is not necessarily something to fucking write home about, This isn't a very good analog stick. I'm not trashing it. I fucking love it. It works for the majority of the games on this system. But for a twitchy racer like this, I think you're better off playing the PC version. Plus, the PC version just looks fucking incredible. And as far as I know, within the past, like, couple months or something like that. And I would get it if mine fucking worked, but the goddamn system is a complete fucking scam. Apparently, it was released on the Switch. And Xbox One, too. Jesus Christ, yeah. You people have no fucking excuse anymore. You should definitely play. This is, like, such a good weekend play. I just wish that you could still rent video games. Because this has weekend rental written all over it. Similar to Riddick. Like, this is a fucking weekend rental. All right, that's all I got to say. Bye.